Hello and welcome to AAA Wargaming. As promised, here's the first game of Art of War 6. So this is held at Bristol Independent Gaming. It's one of the big ones every year. There's about 60 odd players, and more importantly, it has not just the Art of War, but the War of Art. It's probably the big painting competition of the year. So we had lots of different categories, and I'll go through them in the final video. But otherwise, brilliant venue, brilliant tournament, thoroughly enjoyable. Lots of people come from overseas. We had a few from Denmark. Um, I think some came from the rest of Europe, maybe. Either way, it's thoroughly good fun, and yeah, I recommend going to it. Right, so first game is battle report number 45, and I went through the um, scenario last time, but just a bit quick recap. It's Dawn Assault and Capture the Flags, and I was playing Highborn Elves. The sorry, the big thing is that you've got the veil lifts or rifts. So the rift between twixt us is the scenario. It's called every magic phase. Each of us can cast this spell. It's a bound spell, and then you put a rift counter in on the battlefield. And then after in the phase you cast it, every magic phase you roll a 1 or 3. Nothing happens. At a 4 to 6, you get effectively a comet comes down, where X in this case is the number of veil tokens both sides have. So, as you know, I'm playing Highborn Elves. That's really good. But, uh, quick reminder of my army, as per. It's a little bit of a fluffy list. It was mainly what I had painted at the time. Right, this list actually is not bad. It's done quite good in its first 2 practice games. The one list that I knew it was not going to be good against is this list. Highborn Elves, Ancient Dragon, Commander on Dragon, Mage Cosmo with Initiate, the Fiery Heart, and a buttload of archers. Whoever gave them accurate, there is a special place reserved in hell for the likes of you. And this is what I both means. 160 points for 10 sitters and archers with musician, which shoot better. 240 points. There's no amount of walking through forest that makes 80 that is worth 80 points. And moving and shooting, strength 4 at short range. Yeah, in fairness, that probably is quite useful. But not in this fight, where someone with accurate doesn't even need to go anywhere near you in that. So I knew I was up against it. It fights better than me. It shoots better than me. It's got more powerful magic than me. The only thing I had, because it was the setup and the scenario, because Dawn Assault puts him into a corner, which is good. It's not spread out. It means actually it's more difficult to focus fire at certain points. The downside is it's more difficult to get around his flanks, but that's also really difficult for me in this. He's got 3 single models that fight really well, um, plus the sword masters. So yeah, it's not going well. Um, and the other thing is because it's capture flags, maybe I can get lucky with the rift betwixt and a totemic summon, and maybe archers to start picking off some of this stuff. Because actually, 10 citizen archers, yeah, they also have a 6+ save, which turned out to be quite useful. Um, yeah, so and the only thing that made this even more difficult is who is running this Highborn Elf list. Mark Greensill. Brilliant. A great guy, a really nice guy, had a great game. But also one of the top Highborn players, if not the top Highborn player in the country. So I'll be honest, I think I opened my first can of beer after turn 1. No, actually, I think it was after turn 2. No, 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 it was turn 1. Yeah, no, it was turn 1. I'm turning around to a mate and saying, hey. And it wasn't even going badly then. So, right, I'm up against it. Spells, no real problem. Luckily, Crown of the Wizard King came through for me. Ancestral Aid, I was like, well, actually, I don't think that's going to make that much of an impact this battle. But I'm really glad he didn't get something like Fireball or Druidism 1 or worst of all, Shamanism or something like that. So it gave me a bit of a chance. Um, what I had to do was somehow just force him back and try and get lucky with the objective, and then just keep him locked in at corner. Don't take risks. Try and play a bit of a standoffish game and try and play for that. Cool. And then the big spells that I was trying to worry about actually was not Unity Evidence, it was Pyroclastic Flow and Favor and Ice and Fire. Because Favor's going to stop me killing his units. Ice and Fire and Pyroclastic Flow are strength 4. And it's pretty as simple as that. Because I've got no armor apart from my Kestrels. Right, so here's the battle. What we had was an impassable, a ruins, a water feature, a forest, a hill, that's mine, and a wall. So it was quite sparse actually. We both called went, I feel like we're missing a piece here, but we weren't. It was just weirdly placed out. I placed my forest here, and what happened is he got to select sides, so he chose the top right hand corner, and then I selected to go first. And the reason I did this is I'm not too bothered about going first, but what I wanted to do was push him back as much as possible. In fact, he hasn't actually deployed all his units at this point. I really was like, um, I need to push him back as much as I possibly can, and therefore I wanted to pick first. But what I was concerned about is if he did spread out and I didn't have anything on the left, that it would be problematic. So what I did was what I tried with Ben last night worked quite well. So I put the Briar Maidens and the General on the left, and the idea is they would zone this area. Big archers on the hill because I thought he was going to put a lot more here, and that was where. So then I put my archers in the forest around here, and I just had that block here. And then I put all my flappy stuff on the right hand side, and I was just going to go this way, form a nice baseline there, try and get the Briar Maidens off this way, and then keep shooting and hope that my magic pays off. What he did, actually, what happened was you had the Ancient Dragon here, the two Wizard and the Great Eagle were back here, and the Briar and these were over there just to keep them out of the way. Otherwise, you got the big unit of Sword Masters, Archer, various ones, musicians or not musicians. Mark knew which ones they were. Like he absolutely knew which ones they were. I just didn't. But it's quite frankly irrelevant because he had accurate and everything else. But he absolutely knew who they were and he played it absolutely spot on, which is also very impressive and shows you the caliber of the player. You've then got that's the initiate and that's his BSB on the dragon. Cool. So Silvernell's turn 1. I did everything to plan, apart from I felt I was a bit blocked here and I rushed it and I moved my Kestrels over to this side to provide a bit of a threat. I can't decide whether this was a good idea and whether actually what I should have done was left the Kestrels on the right hand side and moved the Great Eagles, because then it would have been an interesting throwaway piece to throw into the centre once my Briar Maidens and Lord had come round. So I think this was probably a mistake, and I should have left both Kestrels on this side to keep this threat really, really quite harsh. Anyway, that was that. Otherwise, I've moved. I'm mostly out of range, but that's okay. It also means I just made sure that he wasn't in range on the first turn, so we're not shooting each other. I also put my Kestrels right in front of everything on his bit, and I really wish I had a Banner of the Silent Mist just to get a -2 to hit, because that would be really useful this game as well. Anyway, in shooting, no magic, it was a complete fluff. I remember this for the first 2 or 3 turns. No, it was first 2 turns. I could not get a spell off. The only saving grace on that is neither could Mark for the first turn. So, bit of a fluff, really. Unfortunately, my shooting wasn't there and his did turn up a bit more. But not for this one. BSB, first shot, wounded, 2 wounds off your BSB. Take that. And at that point, I thought, you know what? This could work. Another shot, and suddenly that thing can't go anywhere near my Kestrels. I can push it. Might even not be able to take on Great Eagles. I was like, oh, this is looking good. Highbornell's turn 1. He did something I wasn't expecting, which was move the Swordmasters over to this way. But actually, it proved a good move because it's pretty much blocking, and because they're Banner of Speed, actually they're quite fast. He's moved his BSB around and initiated the Fiery Heart, and basically this is going to become a shooting match, and I haven't got that much shooting over here because he's got magic and the Bow of Elu. Otherwise, he's moved his Ancient Dragon back and just formed a baseline with his. He's quite happy to let me come towards him. Yeah. Magic was a bit of fluff, as I say, and he only got 1 wound with the shooting, partly because he moved a bit, so he did get affected, and I've got hard target 1, and then I'm res 4. So yeah, there was stuff going on. And his Ely bow didn't do anything. My fortitude saved up, so actually it was a bit of a fluff for his phase as well. My turn two. What I did then was I backed off with these because what I didn't want to do is have him suddenly charge forward and get cut off around here, and I didn't want these fleeing off the board without the VSB there. What I think I should have done was actually just push them back here, created a threat and angle here, and what I had done is I moved this one up to form the baseline again, and this I had them in sort of, but they were still too far away here. What I wanted to try and do was leave. I was more concentrating on trying to leave a gap for my archers to shoot start whittling away at these guys here. That was a mistake. I feel I should have just concentrated on forcing them back and taken risk on the left, because actually I don't think he wanted to bring his Angel and Dragon forward, and I could have pushed on the right far harder and started threatening his initiate and everything else. But as it was, I sort of backed off on the right, which was against the game plan, while pushed a bit on the left. So yeah, that was it. In terms of magic, again, nothing really happened. But in shooting, I did get a few of the sword masters off. Not as many as I'd have liked, but yeah, it started to whittle them down. I was hoping that actually over 6 turns I could pull this off. So yeah. Um, his turn two, he was quite happy letting the Kestrel. I was so far out of range. He was like, "Well, if you come into the flank, that's okay, but you're not going to break him." And then he counter charges with both his fly stuff. Um, Otherwise, he's kept it pretty central. It's stopping me getting any totemic summons into the mix, but as I can't seem to cast a spell at the moment, it's okay. And he's quite happy to sit here for this magic and shooting and just let it whittle me down and take out my combat characters in stuff. His bow and pyroclastic flow turned up and killed 2 kestrels and put a wound on them, which is not good. He's then I've got an ice and fire off on the Brahmanians and killed 2 of them. And then his shooting opened up. He killed another 3 Briar Maidens because they couldn't. I think that was their 3 saves there. I couldn't make a 4+ to save my life. And he's also destroyed the back rank of my Kestrels. His shooting just turned up and he was rolling 5s like a god. I just couldn't do anything about it. And they ran, which I was a bit like, darn it. Leadership 9 not looking so good now. So yeah, that was a bit of a problem. So now my left hand side was feeling a bit vulnerable, and I thought I had to push. When it comes to 3, this was my biggest mistake. This was where I lost it, or I lost this turn. Sorry, spoiler. I did lose this game. Just like smart green sword. Come on. But you can see here, that's where my Lord has gone. What I was trying to do, I thought maybe res 5. He's got to win me on 6s and everything else, and I completely forgot. Like, although his magic is over here, it's quite mobile and his shooting. So like, I didn't think I thought about it in terms of archers. I didn't think about it holistically, especially when you add all the strength 4 breath weapons. It's just a lot of shooting that's going to be focused on a single character, and I shouldn't have done that. What I should have done is brought him back slightly with the Briar Maidens and sat them here out of range, made them walk forward, and then just tried to do away while I rallied my Kestrels, reformed because they did rally, and reorganized this side and maybe pushed a bit on here and started threatening the Swordmasters a bit more. But as it was, you now see my combat threats have really started to push back. Um, I'm relying on my archers to do some donkey work, which they're not really, and they would have to hit quite higher than average to start whittling down those Swordmasters because it was fixing me in position. So yeah, and what I was trying to do is, well, actually, I did manage to heal one of the Kestrels here. So he was stopping a Totemic Summon. I did get a Totemic Summon off, I'm pretty sure, this turn. So it's not the end of the day. You can see here I whittle off a few more Swordmasters. And other than that, that's it. Right, and here you see where my problem. They've all come in and they're all making sure they can shoot that. And what makes it worse is he's dropped the eagle in front of my lord, so I can't charge in and anything. So I'm going to have to charge the eagle for 100 points, and he's going to have 2 turns to kill me, which is annoying. He's cleverly placed his sword masters so that I can't actually flit round with one of these units. Um, what it has done, in my lord doing that, is delayed him coming forward, but I don't think that's his concern. I think in my head when I did this, I was one turn further ahead when, and I just thought my lord would survive and he'd get in there and I could start munching through archers and then it'd be all really good and he wouldn't charge in because then I'd challenge and all the other stuff. And that was wrong. What I should have done was waited another turn because now he can start being really, really aggressive. And if he kills that, and he's got a lot more turns to do it. If I'd done this on my turn 4, I think that would have been better because 2 turns to kill me is turn 5. He's still all the way up there, and I haven't lost too much. Although my army has taken a bit of a hammering, it's not dead. I haven't lost many points. I haven't lost any points at the moment. Yeah, sorry, I did get a thing on. And he had to turn his entire army round to kill it off. And this was the other thing. So I'd given him a choice, but so all the cards are actually aligned for me as well. I mean, like my lord was there, but he had the Great Eagle, which meant he could spend a turn doing this and not worry about it, and then to have the time to turn around and kill my lord. So, but I don't think he killed this one. No, left it on 1 wound. And then he still managed to get some points to shoot into my archers and kill 3 of them, which was quite painful. I mean, he was hitting on 4s with soft cover because he's got accurate rather than let's say 5s, which is pretty normal. So that was quite bad. He doesn't kill the Lord. Sorry, I haven't got an overall picture here, but he doesn't kill the Lord. That's a good thing. Doesn't put a single wound on him. So therefore, I this is you can see I had a full 2 packs, so I had 8 of them. I drank all of them in one day, which was probably not wise. But you can see the beer is the problem. I've and I was thinking, yes, I'm going to do well here. He can survive another turn. I've just got to keep getting his totemic summons on. He didn't kill this totemic summon. The totemic managed to get in on that as charge, and in my magic phase, I managed to get another one on. So I was feeling pretty confident. I've also even managed to get a rift, so I suddenly had a good magic phase turn 3 and 4, and I was thinking, 2 summons on, admittedly one's low. I've got that on. I've got my lord. He survived a round. He's going to go in to kill that eagle. He's got one more thing, and then he's going to go in. So maybe it's the alcohol talking. I'm starting to pick up a few more of these, so I'm starting to think maybe I can start to go in. I'm feeling pretty happy, even though it's going in. My lord, I've put a few wounds on the ancient as well. I mean, shock. In combat, he fails to wound me, and I kill 2 archers. I was hoping for a bit more, maybe to break steadfast, but didn't. Yeah, you can see I killed the evil. I mean, it wasn't even a chance. Yeah. Then Highborn turns 4 happens. Everything turns around and points at the Lord, and the eagle eyes above you can see he's not there right now, so that's a bit of a spoiler alert. Um, Otherwise, he's charged in his Reavers into the Totemic Summon to finish them off. He's turned them around there to block the summon there, so it just go in. He's got enough leadership bubble around there, so it's not an issue. And you can see now he's starting to advance the Ancient Dragon here and threaten my scoring units. So I'm now I've got no real threat. My combat threat is here, and I don't think I want to charge 4 of them in because I've only got 1 strength buff, and he just knows which one to block. My other kestrels are over here. It's totally out of range. My great eagles are somewhere else. Are over here. I mean, to be honest, actually, maybe this was the moment to move there on his turn 4. Oh no, this is his turn 4. So turn 5, maybe it was mine to do. But yeah, this is what's around him. I've got an initiate, the Fiery Heart, his Cosmo Master. There's 4 units of archers all pointing at him. You've got 2. I've got his lord as well. Where's his masters there? So yeah, he's also got his initiate, the Fiery Heart. So I've got 2 breath weapons amongst other things. But yeah, it didn't go well. So he's dead. He also killed the Totemic Summon, unsurprisingly, with the Reavers. And yeah, that's not looking good. He's also killed a few more archers off and made them panic as well. So I didn't even. It wasn't even a loss of a lot of shooting he had to put into it that he managed to have another go with them and they ran to there. So yeah, but I've still got the BSB there, so that's not too bad. But I'm more concerned with the fact that I've got nothing fixing any of the dragons and stuff like that, and he's got 2 turns. Yep, that's that gone. Right, I did a bit of a Hail Mary here. I was umming and ahhing for a bit. My Kestrels here could see his commander, and I thought if I can just get one strength buff off, because my shamanism one is over here, I have a chance. Well, they're both over here, say that. I might be able to, because he's not steadfast. What if he doesn't do it? I think he's got 1 wound now, because maybe touch of the heart, but it's possible that I can. I've got flank, charge, flank, banner, so I'm up by 3 even before I start. So I was wondering whether I could kill enough wounds and not take enough damage back to take him off, and just that would be a massive point swing. It's nearly 1,000 points when you add the BSB add in. I just thought, yeah. In hindsight, we'll see. Yeah, okay. So in hindsight, other than that, I've moved the Brahmins up to try and plink more off the thing. It's only a matter of time now. I do manage to rally the archers down here, but I've lost 1 unit to shooting and various other stuff. It's only a matter of time before I lose another archer unit. I need to start trying to plink some of these points off. So I've moved with the BSB back here to shoot at the dragon, moved them in. I've got all the archers in, so I'm just sort of hoping that I can get lucky, get enough wounds off him, and start making a pain. What I have done is finally done my tactic. My Kestrels are here, and I put the Great Eagles out here, so he's got a really horrible option of going in or and backing off stuff. But yeah. Well, I say really horrible option. It's Swordmasters versus Eagles, so it's a bit of a Hail Mary. So it's an option for me. It's an option. Right. Yeah, it didn't go well. This is probably the back end of my turn rather than his. That's my guy running away. So I got one guy. I had 8 wounds. I have 1 wound left. I didn't get anywhere with it. So yeah, unfortunately, 9 attacks just didn't go through. I think I did 1 wound, if no, 2 wounds. And then he did 7 back to me. He won combat. I ran, and then I think I failed the fear test as well. Actually, I think that was the killer. And also, he's commander striking first. Actually, did do quite a few wounds to my unit and taken them off. So yeah, it just didn't work out that well for me. In fact, it worked out pretty poorly. Yeah, and now I've got 2 dragons right in front of my archers, which is not great. So his first turn, he charged, I fled, and then he counter-charged in. Oh, sorry, the dragon charged in. Not sure what that was. I think he just. Oh yeah, it killed the Brahmins there with all the shooting and everything else. He then charged into this. He took another wound on the way in, and then the archers caused a wound to the dragon. So he's on 5 wounds now. So he's only got 1 left. So an overrun and everything else he wouldn't want to do. But he ate the archers. Yeah, he ate the archers, and that's my BSB then looking at them. He also got the general into the larger unit of archers, but and I challenged him out with the champion. Uh, my plan was to try and suck up a load of magic with other stuff and then just re-heal it with the champion again, so that at least it'd be my turn and I could keep the big unit as well. I did have a Titanic Sun in there, and that's so. What the picture we're seeing now is this rift finally coming down, but because they're so far away, I think it only hit them, and it didn't hardly any wounds at all. So it was a bit of a miss on that one. Right, my turn. My plan was I needed some points, so I charged the Great Eagles in the flank. I chose not to charge the Kestels in the front because I thought this would be just combat res for him, and I can keep them alive by just moving them into the corner. I moved him into the woods so that I could still fire at him, but also if he charged me, there's a risk he dies on impact because of dangerous terrain, and yeah, maybe I get lucky. I moved them up there to shoot at them as well, and then I made sure they were out of range of everything, and I was just going to keep them alive as much as possible. Uh, Everything missed. Just for the record, the BSB shot, hit, and wounded once in the game, turn one, and I was all cocky, and I remember thinking, "Yeah, get in there, I'm going to do this." Nope, couldn't have been more closer if he tried. Could have used the spear and poked the BSB, and still couldn't do it. I think I rolled a one again. It was the number of ones that person rolls to the point where the bow of Whiskin is something that I don't think I'll ever put on a character again that's not a wizard. Just that actually I'll be surprised when it does hit rather than that. So yeah, I've learnt my lesson. I did manage to get the Fountain of Youth off and raise a champion, so fix him in combat again. Highborn Elves turn 6. The general did not charge, did not thing. He just moved back because the initiative of the fire art's there. He's got an elo bow and all the archers in the world to shoot at me in ice and fire. So my BSB is facing. He doesn't have a breath weapon because he used it on the archers, but he does have an elo bow. Breath weapon plus pyro, ice and fire, archers, all pointing at this guy. Oh, something that is exciting. Look, look, look. Swordmasters. Take some wounds, everything else. Swordmaster's running! Haha! I cannot believe it on Swiss Stride. I would have been amazing purely against the runner play, but I nearly got 700 points from the Swordmasters, which would have been hilarious for a 211 point Eagle unit, but for the loss of only one Eagle. But otherwise, actually, I think this is a unit I need to work out how to use because I'm not quite sure. I'll explain at the end of the battle, actually. Um, but either way, that's it. That's the archers. They get killed off. That's my BSB getting killed off. And those are my archers. My archers run and get run down. I failed the panic check. So, yeah, they're dead as well. Whoops. Even on steadfast, actually. So, yes, the entire scoring unit is gone. So, that's, I think, the only things I had left on the board were the two wizards. Oh, no, I didn't. Sorry, one of my kestrels and were also there as well. So, that was all good. Other than that, a massive difference and a 19-1 and a good game. So I hope you've enjoyed that. I think one of the things I think about this list is one should have thought about this. Highborn Elves were coming up in the ascendancy, and I think I just hoped that I wouldn't get the draw, which is really, really bad planning. And I think one of the things is, one, I made a few errors and I put my Lord out too early. I need to have a think about some magic res on that guy, because even MR2 just does a little bit. The other thing I need to think about is totemic summons. They're good and bad at the same time. I don't know. I think so far I've got lucky against UD because I don't think they were actually that useful for anything else. If Anton had done had done anything else with his Hierophant, I think they were useful against Ben, and then against this Highborn Elf list, actually they're not that useful. It tied up his archers for a bit, but I think Chilling Howl would have had a better effect, and it's something that he has to stop. And then having multiple magic missiles to do that extra damage on top of the archers just to emphasize that effect would change the battle. The other thing is double strength buff. I did not want to be too aggressive in my kestrels because of that double strength buff, and I think that's something I need to have a look at. So I still like the idea of keeping a basic druidism spell, but I need to change up how I use um, my offensive magic and my combat magic because I think it's not quite good enough. So yeah, there we go. Uh, I think those are the key points in that battle. Otherwise, 19-1 first round. Uh, I think that's not uncommon for me for the last two Art of Wars. My first Art of War I did quite well, and then after that, I don't think I did very well. No, I got 15-5 last year, and I was lucky with that one. I was lucky to get a point off this game actually. Mark was a great opponent. I had good fun. But yeah, no, it was off to the bottom tables into the little cubby room. So Bristol at big. thank you very much for listening. Please like and subscribe, and I'll keep getting these out.